Welcome to the latest weather briefing for western and central Wyoming, brought to you by the National Weather Service in Riverton. We had quite a stormy week again, but instead of thunderstorms this week, we actually saw snow. There's as much as 10 inches of snow in the western mountains, and even close to a half inch around Green River. Many low elevation areas not only saw snow across the west, but there was also some frost and a very hard freeze in some places as we got down to the mid 20s in some cases. East of the divide, we saw some places get over an inch of rain, including Du Bois. So this was quite a strong storm system. As you see here, it looks like temperatures are expected to rise the next couple days. Let's see if that'll continue. So for the week ahead on Friday, there could be an isolated shower or two across the northern mountains. Otherwise, warm and breezy south and central. On Saturday, it looks like we should get a little bit more shower and thunderstorm activity, especially across northern and central Wyoming, remaining dry and warm across the south. On Sunday, that should be our big thunderstorm day. Looks like everything's coming together for a significant thunderstorm outbreak along and east of the divide, but maybe some isolated thunderstorms west. These thunderstorms will likely be very windy. Monday through Wednesday, it looks like thunderstorms will continue each day, and it will remain warm, but not as warm as it was last year or the year before. Speaking of thunderstorms on Sunday, thunderstorms in general need moisture, instability, and lift. So here we are looking at the moisture on Sunday afternoon. This is actually the surface dew point. So we're looking at dew points in the 40s and 50s along and east of the divide and across the west. They're a little bit lower, so any storms that do form will likely have very gusty winds. Looking at instability here, this is called CAPE, and this just shows you how unstable the atmosphere is, and it looks like the best instability is around Casper. But in order for storms to be severe, they need spin as well. This is a parameter called helicity, but anywhere you see these red shades, that means that there's sufficient spin in the atmosphere to get these storms organized and maybe create some strong ones with very strong wind gusts and hail expected. Moving over to fire weather concerns, as I mentioned earlier, it's supposed to be warm, dry, and breezy. So these warm, dry, and breezy conditions will elevate fire concerns a little bit through the weekend. Taking a look at a little bit more detail, this was the precipitation and its percentage of normal as of last week. And you see these red areas here in southwest Wyoming. There was quite a precipitation deficit, and things were starting to dry out enough to carry fire. However, this week it looks like that exact same area got most of the precipitation from this last storm. So that's actually pretty good news. For Friday, this is the minimum relative humidity forecast. This line right here, these darker red shades show 15% relative humidity. So it's going to be pretty dry on Friday. And when you put the winds on, we should see some wind gusts over 22 to 26 mile an hour, especially in this area. So dry and windy on Friday. On Saturday, it looks like we're continued dry in the same areas, but the winds aren't quite as strong, but they are strong enough to get some elevated fire activity going. And then Sunday, you see the moisture comes in, mainly along and east of the divide. It's still below 20% down here in the southwest. So it's still dry enough, and the winds aren't quite as bad, but if we get some thunderstorms going, then you could have very strong outflows from those storms. The 8 to 14 day outlook, we are looking above average for temperatures, so quite warm and not as much precipitation as we saw last week. So it looks like we're starting to get a little bit closer to our regular summer pattern for the end of June. It's typically dry, so this isn't too surprising to see. Thanks for watching. Please call us anytime at 1-800-211-1448. And remember to go indoors if you hear thunder this weekend.